can handle pressure, hard days, and real problems. But one sentence from the wrong person completely destroys you. And the worst part? You already know it's true. You tell yourself, I'm just sensitive, or they crossed a line. But the real answer is harsher than that. Random people are deciding how your day feels, and you're letting them. Now, there was a man who had real problems. Not a bad text, not a rude coworker. This man ran the entire Roman Empire. While generals betrayed him, plague wiped out his people, and senators smiled to his face and plotted behind his back every single day for 2 decades. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and the people around him tried everything to shake him. It almost never worked, not because he was cold, not because he didn't feel it, but because he had figured out something about the human mind that most people never figure out in their entire lives. And it's not what you think it is. It's not deep breathing. It's not ignoring people. It's not some Zen monk detachment nonsense. It's a specific mental move, one shift in how you see what's happening. And once your brain learns it, being triggered becomes almost physically difficult. Stay with me for the next 20 minutes. By the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why your brain reacts the way it does, and the precise moment you can interrupt it. Not manage it, shut it down before it starts. Before we get into it, drop a comment and write "no more triggers." If that's where you are right now, let's fix that. So, here's the uncomfortable question. Why do we actually get triggered so damn easily? And why do some people seem to enjoy pushing our buttons? Let's break it down without the fancy psychology talk. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. We get triggered because our brain has an old, stupid alarm system that still thinks we're living in the jungle. The second someone criticizes us, disagrees with us, or makes us feel small, that alarm goes off like we're under attack, and before our smarter brain even gets a chance to think, we're already pissed off, defensive, or hurt. That's why one comment can ruin your whole mood in seconds. Now here's where it gets even more messed up. The people who trigger you, a lot of them are doing it because it gives them a little hit of power. When they see you react, their brain gets a quick reward, like they won something. They feel bigger, stronger, or more in control. So they keep doing it. Not because you did something wrong, but because your reaction feeds their ego. And the crazy part? Most of them don't even realize they're doing it. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. At the end of the day, this whole thing is about brain control, not their brain, your brain. Nobody is reaching inside your head and flipping a switch. They're just saying or doing something, and your brain is choosing to hand them the control. You're the one deciding to get angry. You're the one deciding to let it ruin your day. And as long as you keep doing that, you're basically letting other people drive your emotions while you sit in the passenger seat. That's the hard truth. And until you accept that it's your brain running the show, not theirs, you'll keep getting triggered for the rest of your life. So, yeah, getting triggered all the time isn't just a bad habit. It's actually costing you a lot more than you think. Let's talk about the real price you're paying. Every time you let someone trigger you, you're paying a price, and it's bigger than you realize. You lose hours of your day being angry, distracted, or in a bad mood. That anger doesn't just disappear when the moment passes. It follows you into your work, your relationships, and even your sleep. You start performing worse, thinking slower, and making worse decisions because your mind is stuck replaying what someone said or did. But it gets worse. When you're constantly triggered, you start losing respect from others, and from yourself. People see you as emotional, reactive, and easy to manipulate. They learn that all they have to do is push one button, and you'll lose control. And over time, you start losing opportunities too. Because the person who can't control their emotions rarely gets trusted with bigger responsibilities. And the worst part? You start to believe this is just who you are. You tell yourself, I'm just an emotional person, or I can't help it. But that's a lie you've been sold. The truth is, you've trained your brain to react this way. And if you don't break the pattern, this is how the rest of your life is going to feel. Small reactions to small things, while the real things you want keep slipping away. That's the hidden cost. Not just bad days, a smaller life. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. There was one man who completely solved this problem centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius. He figured out how to stop people from triggering him, even when they were trying their hardest. We're going to look at exactly how he did it. Marcus Aurelius. He was the emperor of Rome, at a time when betrayal, politics, and power games were everywhere. People around him were constantly trying to provoke him, manipulate him, or drag him into their drama. Most men in his position would have been stressed, reactive, and emotionally exhausted every single day. But Marcus was different. He didn't have some special power that others didn't. He simply understood something that most people still don't understand. That getting triggered isn't about what happens to you. It's about what you allow to happen inside your own mind. The moment you let someone else's words or actions decide how you feel, you've already lost control. Marcus knew that real power doesn't come from reacting to everything around you. It comes from protecting your mind so tightly that almost nothing can disturb it. While everyone else was busy fighting battles on the outside, he was busy winning the battle inside his own head. And that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. Not theory, not soft motivational talk. The real, practical mind hack he used to stop being triggered, even when people were actively trying to mess with him. We're going to look at exactly how he did it, and how you can start using the same approach in your own life, starting today. Now that we know Marcus had a way to stay calm no matter what came at him, let's look at exactly what that mind hack actually was. The real mind hack Marcus Aurelius used wasn't complicated. It was simple, but extremely powerful. He understood that nothing outside of you has the power to disturb you, unless you allow it. Most people believe that when someone insults them, criticizes them, or treats them badly, the insult itself is what makes them angry or hurt. But Marcus saw it differently. He knew that the insult, or the situation itself, has no power on its own. What actually hurts you is your own reaction to it, your judgment, your opinion about what happened. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same situation. One person gets triggered and loses their mind, while the other stays completely calm. The situation didn't change. What changed was how each person chose to see it. That's where the real power lies. Marcus realized that if you can control how you see things, you can control how much power they have over you. He didn't waste time fighting against things he couldn't control. Instead, he focused on the only thing he could actually control: his own mind. When something happened that could have triggered him, he trained himself to pause and ask, "Is this really worth my peace?" Most of the time, the answer was no. So he let it go. This is what made him so difficult to shake. People could say whatever they wanted, do whatever they wanted, or try to provoke him however they wanted. But they couldn't force him to react, because he had already decided that his peace was more important than their opinions. The hack is simple. Stop treating everything like it deserves a reaction. Stop believing that every comment, every action, and every situation needs to affect you. Most things don't. And the ones that do, you still get to choose how much power you give them. Marcus didn't become unbreakable because nothing bad ever happened to him. He became unbreakable because he stopped letting bad things live rent-free in his mind. That's the real mind hack. And once you start using it, you'll realize how much time and energy you've been wasting on things that never deserved it in the first place. Now you understand the mind hack, but knowing it and actually using it are two different things. So let's talk about how to put this into practice in real life, starting today. First thing you need to do is catch yourself in the moment. Most people don't even realize they're getting triggered until they're already angry or upset. So the first step is to notice it early. When you feel that tightness in your chest or that sudden rush of anger, pause for a second. Don't react right away. Just notice what's happening inside you. That small pause is where your power begins. Once you've paused, ask yourself one simple question. Is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer will be no. When someone cuts you off in traffic, talks behind your back, or sends you a rude message, it's rarely worth destroying your mood over. This one question can save you from hours of unnecessary stress. In real situations, this hack works even better when you use it with people close to you. For example, if your boss or colleague says something that normally triggers you, don't jump to defend yourself or argue. Instead, stay quiet for a moment and ask yourself what they're actually trying to achieve. Often, their behavior has nothing to do with you. It's about their own pressure or insecurity. When you see it this way, it becomes much easier to stay calm. The same applies in relationships. When someone you care about says something hurtful, your first instinct might be to react emotionally. But if you use this hack, you can choose to respond instead of react. You can ask yourself, do I want to turn this into a bigger fight, or do I want to protect my peace? That single choice can change the entire direction of the conversation. Of course, this doesn't mean you should stay silent when something truly matters. There's a difference between protecting your peace and letting people walk all over you. The hack helps you respond with clarity instead of reacting with emotion. You choose when to speak up and when to let it go. And that choice comes from a place of strength, not weakness. The hardest part is making this a habit. In the beginning, you'll forget. You'll still react sometimes. That's normal. But every time you catch yourself and choose not to get triggered, you're training your brain. Over time, it becomes easier. The situations that used to ruin your day will start to feel smaller and smaller. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming harder to shake. It's about keeping your peace, even when people try to take it from you. But even when people understand this mind hack, most of them still mess it up. Here are the biggest mistakes I see, again and again. The first mistake is trying to act like nothing affects you. That's not the hack. Pretending you don't care while you're actually boiling in. inside will only make things worse. The real hack is being honest with yourself about what you feel, then choosing not to react from that place. The second mistake is using this as an excuse to stay silent when you should speak up. Protecting your peace doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means responding from a place of control instead of reacting out of emotion. The third mistake is expecting this to work overnight. Your brain has been reacting a certain way for years. It takes time and repetition to rewire it. Most people try it for a week, don't see instant results, and go back to their old patterns. And the biggest mistake, only using this hack with some people. You can't pick and choose when to stay in control. The moment you start making exceptions, you weaken the whole thing. After everything we've talked about, here's what actually matters. At the end of the day, getting triggered is a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. Marcus Aurelius proved that no matter how much pressure, betrayal, or provocation comes your way, you still get to decide whether you hand over control of your mind. Most people never make that decision. They let everything and everyone around them decide how they feel. But once you understand that your reaction is the only thing you truly own, everything changes. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stop giving your peace away so easily. So before we wrap this up, let's make one thing clear. We talked about why we get triggered so easily, the hidden cost of handing our peace to other people, and the mind hack Marcus Aurelius used to stay in control, no matter what came at him. We also looked at how to actually use this in real life, and the common mistakes most people make. The truth is simple. Getting triggered is a choice. And once you stop making that choice, everything starts to change. If this video made you think, drop a comment right now and write, "No more triggers." I want to know who's actually serious about taking back control. And for those who are still going to let every little comment ruin their day, well, enjoy staying on that emotional roller coaster. Some people just love giving away their peace for free. If this helped you, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more where this came from. One last question before you go. How much longer are you willing to let other people control how you feel?